Hello everyone, it's Margaret here with 60andMe, and today I'm going to talk about 5 things that you should not talk to your grandchild about if you want them to keep listening. Now, many of us have grandchildren. I have 2 young ones and an older grandson in UK. And so the conversations, of course, are very different between those 2 age groups. And that's going to be part of the fun of the challenge of the conversation today. It's different. It's nuanced depending on age and where they live and all the rest of it. But, if you're a grandmother and you want to get some tips on what not to say to your grandkids so that they will listen to you and enjoy the conversation, then stay tuned. Now, I'm going to give a little bit of a trigger warning here because this conversation might trigger sadness for some of you who are, number one, don't have grandchildren but maybe want to have grandchildren. This can be challenging, and I do appreciate that. And I know this, so this isn't going to be for every person who's watching. And also, if you may be one of the sad situation who is not able to see their grandchildren for whatever reason, that for some reason the family is fragmented, there's some relationships broken, and you're not able to see grandkids. But to be honest with you, these are kind of comments that you would not want to say to any young person, whether it's a young child or an older, teenager. And so maybe there'll be something to learn and to enjoy from this conversation, but I think it's important. So let's carry on. And in advance, I just want to be sensitive to other women that are going through that. Okay. So first thing is technology. Now, many women do not live near their grandchildren. I'm fortunate I have 2 very close to me, but one lives a long way away in the UK. And, so we use technology a lot, and that's what it's there for. And it's getting better all the time. Whether you use FaceTime or WhatsApp or Zoom, whatever the channel is that you use, you can have really great conversations, visual connections too. So I was just chatting with my grandson in Scotland yesterday about some Christmas stuff, and we were just chatting about life and school and whatever, and it was really nice. Like, we were looking at each other, we were like connecting, we were there, and it was just so lovely to have that that connection with each other online on technology. So it's you can continue. If you're not living close to grandkids, you can have a good relationship, but just follow some of these little guidelines about what not to say if you would like them to listen, or even more than listen, like respect you or even take you seriously. So the first one is, your sister or brother is really good at that. Or they're so much better than you at that, whatever that sport or that game or that talent is. And it's like, why do you say that? Well, you say that to encourage them sometimes, so they will struggle to push forward, but they're different. They're not going to enjoy the same things. So saying you're not as good as is just so difficult for them to hear. They just lose all kind of faith in your opinions because that's not fair. It just doesn't feel good. So just comparing, not a good thing to do. Another thing is to say, you're my favorite grandchild. Truthfully, I love you. I really love you. You're my favorite. And I know that's sort of tempting to say when they're going through something that's emotional or tough or hard time. You want to give them reassurance and support, but it's really not a helpful thing to say because, number one, it's not fair to the other grandchildren, but it's also not fair to you because you don't really mean that. You know that you love your grandchildren. You may have one that you got special, connection with, that you have some similar, taste or similar enjoyment of something. You both like to do something, but just say that. I love doing these things with you. Like, you're really good at this, and I love watching you or sharing those things with you, but not, you're my favorite. Don't say that. I know these are tricky. Another thing to say, this is a good one. Don't ever say things like, let me tell you about the time that, and then it could be anything. Now, there's times to share an experience in your childhood, like I've shared my winters in Canada and about some of the fun, experiences that I had with that. But it's not like, let me tell you about the time that, your father almost broke his arm doing that. Or let me tell you about the time that your mom, made this cake and it exploded, and, whatever it could be. Don't say things that are going to put their parents, number one, put their parents down, because they don't want to hear that. They're with them like most of their lives. You're just dropping in and out. But, the number one going to not like the fact that you were making some criticism or saying that your dad or mom did something that was risky or not good. And then the other thing is, it's also going to make them feel defensive, like, that doesn't teach me a lesson. I want to I want to do that thing. And if I break my arm, well, whatever. So don't do the story of when, let me tell you about the time that your mom or your dad or your uncle or whatever did this. It's like, it's not for you to share that. Another thing is to say, this is a good one. If they're in middle school or, getting more than 7 years old, they're going to make friends, right? They're going to make little friends, and you're going to see them walking, holding hands, or even my little 3-year-olds. I was hugging a little friend the other day, and I was, it's like, don't say to them things like, oh, is that nice girl or that nice boy your boyfriend, your girlfriend? And just like snicker, laugh, giggle. Why would you say that? Because they're going to not take it seriously. I mean, they're just going to get embarrassed if they really do have little feelings. And believe me, 7 or 8 year olds can have feelings, 9-year-olds. And then when you get into the teens, I mean, you're talking serious attachment, to certain people. You don't want to say, oh, is it your girlfriend? No, it's just a friend. And you're going to embarrass them. And they're there from that minute on, never going to let you see them holding hands with anybody or hugging someone. It's just not a good thing to help you to get that relationship going. And then another thing to say, which, I mean, I know we have conversations about this one, so I'm prepared to take some heat on this one. But it's like simply saying things like, how come you don't wear that sweater that I bought for you? Don't you like my gifts? Or, I bought you a really cool hat. Why are you not wearing that? Like taking it personally, like a gift that you bought for them, taking it personally if they don't say that they like it or thank you. Now, difference between saying they don't like it or they don't wear it and then not thanking you. And I know that a lot of older women, because we were raised, I mean, it's not like a stereotype, it's just saying that we were raised in a time where you sent little thank you notes, or you phoned or you contacted someone and said, thank you so much because your mother was standing there, your father was standing there saying, call your aunt or call your grandma or send a little, and they make you do a handwritten note. And it's like, I know it's tough, but I mean, I know text messaging is easy. Kids can do a text message, they can do a thank you, and it's kind of, I'm not blaming the parents, because they've come from a different place too, that they're just not in the habit of sending thank you notes. Some are, and it's lovely, and it supports our desire to be appreciated, but you have to sometimes give gifts with just like unconditional surrender of the gift. And if they don't like it, that's fine. If they do like it, I mean, I knit scarves sometimes for my grandkids. And then like for the first minute, it's like, oh, thank you, Baba. And then it's like, I see it on the floor. It's like, no, they don't want your scarves. They do. I mean, of course, that's silliness to say that. They love you making them things, but to say, how come you don't wear what I bought you? Or how come you didn't thank me for that gift? I mean, I suppose a lot of women might actually be hurt enough to actually say that. Why did you not send me a thank you note for that? I don't know, whatever set that you got that was like $50. It's expensive, and I was expecting you might appreciate it. Be snide and kind of, what's the expression? Is it passive aggressive? I think that's kind of like where you say something that's passive, but a little bit aggressive, a little bit, hurtful. So that's another fifth thing not to say. And you could probably think of tons of other things, and I would love your feedback. But what can you do? I mean, be present. Be present as much as you can. Don't ask them to be your confidant. Don't tell them your problems. Don't share your, remember when I was a child and there may have been trauma. There may have been all kinds of stuff that you feel like you've got a little person there that might listen and be your confidant. They don't want to do that. They're on their own journey. And I think I've learned that so much with my grandkids, is that there's no point trying to share too much. I mean, I've actually written stuff down, and I've got a little book where I've written answers to questions, and it's like a little legacy planner that I put together. And, it's like, I definitely use that because I can share stuff with them there. They don't have to listen to me going on about when I was a child, we didn't have any food. Although it's a kind of a useful thing. Share stories for sure, and do it with pictures. It's kind of fun. I have I know that we will have it on our phones, and you can skid through your phones, but I have on my computer pictures of their parents when they were young, or their parent, their son or daughter, and when they were younger, and in my case, my sons, and pictures are bringing things to life that they will go, oh, that was really cool. What were you doing there? We went to Disneyland. Oh, really? It's not like when we went to Disneyland, we almost whatever. It's like, look at this fun thing we did at Disneyland. Spend time together, one-on-one. Now, you may have several grandkids, and the mom may be really appreciative of you having all 5 of them over at the same time. And I admire women who can do that, grandmothers who can do that. But even with two, I'm like, stop the noise. But spend time together one-on-one. Just ask if you could have a day a week or some time, an hour, where you can just do something with the older one or the younger one, because they're different. And that's a really cool thing to do, to build opportunities for chatting about positive things, like what they love doing, what their fun things are, and play games together. Really do things that they enjoy at the right level of development, of course. So those are 5 things that maybe not so good to be chatting about if you want them to listen to you and take conversations deeper, and then maybe a few things that you can think about doing. Please leave your comments below. Are there anything you've said to your grandkids that you regretted saying, that they just didn't come out right, or they changed the way that you dealt with each other? Let's be constructive about it too. And if you haven't joined already, please subscribe to this channel and like this video if you do like it, because YouTube magically shares it if you do that, if you make a comment or like the video. So please do that. And know that I appreciate you being here, and thank you every single day for your support and your love, and wish you all well. Babas, grandmas, nanas, nonas, or not, you are precious and important to me. Take good care.